Hey, it's the Nerdy Sports Fan, and we're into week 3 of the NFL season. We're talking Vikings versus Raiders. Now, the Vikings are a 7.5-point favorite against the Raiders, and I don't see that. I don't. Okay, the Raiders went up against a good Chiefs team, and they got beat by 2 touchdowns, but it was also in Kansas City. So I don't think that the Raiders are that bad. I really don't. Would they have been better with Antonio Brown? Yeah, sure. But, they fixed their offensive line. They got some maulers up there. And Josh Jacobs is proving to be everything they thought he was going to be coming out of the draft. So, yeah, I don't see the Vikings, especially the way they're playing offense right now, as 7.5-point favorites. The Vikings have a very good defense, and they are now a run-centric team with Kubiak's offense coming over from Denver. Dalvin Cook is fantastic. He's the rushing leader right now, and everybody thought he was a top 10 running back. Nobody knew he was a top 2 running back, fantasy football-wise, going into the draft. And that's what he's turned into. All right, he's, in some leagues, depending on your scoring, the number 1 running back right now. So I shouldn't have to tell you to start the dude. Put him in there. It's just the way the offense works, and he's not hurt right now. So until he gets hurt, he's an every week number 1. I don't care who else you're comparing him to. So that has to be thrown out there. The Raiders don't have the kind of defense that's just going to bottle up the run and keep it down all game. Because of that, they're going to lean on the run. And it's going to devalue people like Diggs and Thielen. But just by the nature of Kirk Cousins and how well he throws the ball, Thielen and Diggs are still going to be viable options. But, in games where they're going to do well and going to win, they're going to run the ball more, and Diggs starts to go away. So Thielen is really the only starter as far as receiving targets that I see in this offense for the Vikings this week. I bench Diggs all day. Dalvin Cook is going to get all of the fantasy production from this game, so Thielen is not a number 1, but he's the most consistent target for Cousins, and they're a high-powered offense. So you got to put him out there. He's a wide receiver, 2-3, but Diggs, you definitely have better options to start, and you've got better options than Cousins to start because his production's going down as Cook's is going up. On the Raiders' side of things, their wide receiving core is kind of helter-skelter because Derek Carr is a get-the-ball-out-quick kind of guy, so he doesn't hold it for those long developing routes. So I don't really understand them going after the Chargers' former wide receiver in free agency. It just it doesn't make sense to me to go after a deep threat if you're not really using deep threats. So, because they are a quick-hit passing game, the wide receivers, it's going to be hard to gauge week to week. Tyrell Williams, probably a wide receiver 3. But I don't necessarily see any of the wideout targets in Oakland separating themselves right now and being very, very consistent as the go-to guy. So Josh Jacobs is really the only person you're starting from Oakland's offense for similar reasons to why you're starting Dalvin Cook all the time. Just that's the part of their game that's working. That's what they've shown to want to focus on is the running attack behind that very good offensive line. So I start the Vikings defense in this game. The Vikings defense is extremely talented, and the Raiders are not an uber-potent offense right now that they would have been if they had Antonio Brown. So I don't think that this offense puts up an insane amount of points against them. based off of what I've seen the Raiders do in the past few weeks, they're not as terrible as people think they are. I think this line is what it is because of betting habits, not so much because of actually who's better and who's worse. This line is inflated towards Minnesota because people are betting Minnesota. So I wouldn't bother betting that way. It's too obvious a thing. This is the kind of game that Vegas makes their money on. And I think the Raiders are going to cover. They're not going to win, though. Okay, they're not. Minnesota wins this game. Start Dalvin Cook. Put Thielen in there because there's really no other options better than him. Bench everybody else for Minnesota. And start Josh Jacobs if you're playing anybody else from Oakland. Either you're a real homer or you just don't have any options, or maybe you just don't like fantasy football. But either way, Josh Jacobs is the only valuable starter for Oakland. As far as defenses go, start Minnesota and don't even think about Oakland's all season long. That's it for me for this game. Hit me up in the rest of the videos to see what's going on league-wide. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll see you next time, guys.